If you think zero point zero 0.01 worth of Bitcoin isn't worth much, well, you're already losing the game. Because right now there are 8 billion people on Earth, and only 2.1 billion people could ever own that much. And here's the kicker. It's not about the money. It's about what holding it does to you. It's about the identity it forces you to build, the patience it demands, and the clarity it creates. Now, most people think they need a full Bitcoin to win. They scroll Twitter, they see laser eyes, they see screenshots of wallets with whole coins, even hundreds of them, and they feel late, small, and insignificant. But here's the truth that flips that whole narrative on its head. Now, you don't need one Bitcoin. You just need 0.01, 1 million satoshis, which is a fraction of the total supply. And yet, that sliver might be the most asymmetric bet of your entire life. Because it's not just about what you own, it's about what owning it does to you. It changes your perspective, your habits, your time horizon. It rewires the way that you think about money, work, and future self. See, we've been trained to think big, bigger house, bigger salary, bigger investment portfolio, and the system rewards size, or at least it pretends to. If you're not chasing more, you're falling behind, and that's the programming. But Bitcoin flips the entire script, because Bitcoin is about small bets with infinite upside. Because when the supply is fixed at 21 million coins and demand is quietly, steadily becoming global, even a small slice of 0.01 worth of Bitcoin can put you in rare company. So think about it. If there are 8 billion people on Earth, only 2.1 billion slices of 0.01 worth of Bitcoin are in existence, and you're already in the top fraction of humanity just by holding it. Yet most people miss this completely. They look at 0.01 worth of Bitcoin and think that's nothing. They treat it like a leftover, like crumbs on a table. But what they fail to see is that even the crumbs in a scarce system are gold in a world of endless printing. Now, how 0.01 worth of Bitcoin is not a placeholder. It's a power move. It's a declaration that you've opted out of a dying game and stepped into a new one, and before the majority even realizes the game has changed. Now, the 0.01 Bitcoin mindset isn't about stacking the biggest number possible. It's about stacking conviction. Because let's be honest, if you can't hold 0.01 worth of Bitcoin, you won't hold zero point 0.1. And if you flinch with $1,000 in Bitcoin, you'll sell with $100,000 in Bitcoin. And if you check the price 10 times a day with a tiny stake, you'll check it 100 times with a big one and panic even faster. Now, Bitcoin is not a price game, it's a psychology game. It's a test of emotion bandwidth and personal philosophy. And 0.01 worth of Bitcoin is your initiation into that test. Because it forces you to think in decades instead of days. It teaches you patience when the market's volatile. It demands clarity when headlines scream fear. And it rewards discipline in a world built on instant gratification. But more than anything, it plants your flag in the ground of digital sovereignty, a place where no bank, no government, and no corporation can move it without your consent. So, picture a future where Bitcoin trades at $10 million per coin. That means your 0.01 worth of Bitcoin is now worth $100,000. But now stop and ask yourself, would you sell it then? Would you trade it back into fiat, the very thing Bitcoin was designed to replace? Because if your mindset hasn't shifted before the price explodes, You'll make the same fiat-driven decision you've always made, and you'll cash out into the collapsing system you were trying to escape. Now, that's why the shift needs to happen now, not when you hit your number. When the stakes are low, your emotional training is cheap. You can learn to hold without watching life-changing amounts swing up and down. And by the time the market tests you for real, you'll already have the muscle memory. So let me go ahead and tell you this. I know someone who bought one Bitcoin in 2017 for around $4,000. They watched it rise to $7,000 and they thought they were a genius. They sold, logged in their win, and waited for a dip that never came. They watched from the sidelines as it ran to $20,000 and then $60,000. They didn't fail because they lacked Bitcoin. They failed because they lacked identity, because they were still thinking like a fiat player, timing trades, chasing gains, avoiding losses. But I've also seen others who started with just 0.01 worth of Bitcoin. No rush, no panic, and they treated it like treasure and not a trade. They learned about wallets, security, history, and monetary policy, and they stacked slowly and just with $50 a month. And they built their position and their patience at the same time. See, it wasn't about the size of the bag, it was about the strength of the hands holding it. Because Bitcoin isn't really about becoming rich. That's the shallow version of the story. It's about becoming unshakable. Because 0.01 worth of Bitcoin might buy you something much rarer than a Lamborghini, such as time to step away from work you hate, clarity to plan decades ahead instead of weeks, leverage to say no when everyone else is forced to say yes, and escape from a system that quietly taxes you through inflation. Because it's your first brick in a fortress no one can inflate, censor, or seize. And in a world where 99% of people are still mentally trapped in fiat terms, you're building something they can't even see. A new operating system for your life. So the next time someone says, oh, you only have 0.01 worth of Bitcoin, just smile. Because you know something that they don't. It's not about stacking the most, it's about becoming the kind of person who stacks with vision, patience, and conviction. So 0.01 worth of Bitcoin is proof that you've begun the shift. And that shift from fiat thinking to sovereign thinking is worth infinitely more than the price today. Now, if this message hit deeper than you expected, then hit subscribe right now. Because here, we don't just talk about price action or trade in signals, we build identity, we train conviction, and we think in decades, not just dollars. Now, if you want to go deeper down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, then check out my ebook down below, because it's the wake-up call they never wanted you to read. Now, I do also have to chuck this disclaimer in here as well, and I highly suggest just pausing the video and having a little read. Now, if you've made it this far, and if you're looking for something else to watch, then click right here and have a watch of this.